Welcome. My name is Dale McCuskey, and on this video, I'm going to be doing a socialization exercise with Titan, who's here on a 2-week board and train. And I'm going to be using my other dog, Polly, who's a pug, and she's just out of camera range. She's just over there in her crate. And so I'm setting this up as a very controlled exercise, but really what I'm showing is this is the way that socialization needs to happen in order to make sure that the owner has meaningful influence and becomes the relational pivot point in the relationship. So, but here, once a dog has gained a level of power, which has happened here in Titan's situation, you need to do this very intentionally. It has to be very controlled, and so there's a level of communication that's happening here at the relational level. And so what I'm doing here is, once a dog has gained power, what begins to happen is they begin to reach out in their mind and want to bypass the owner at the relational level. So basically the owner fades out of the picture. So this is kind of like a fading back in exercise. And so what needs to happen here is that influence is needed. Okay, so you're going to see me using influence through how I communicate through the leash. But it takes more of a form of a nudge. Okay, this is where I make the distinction between a correction and relational influence with how it promotes change in and through the person, and how that begins to build on these moments which influence the dog's overall decision-making process. So, but here it's all about doing things smart. It's all about using the right technique and understanding the contrast between, what's been established already with the dog and how to bring the script online in such a way that it's going to be very successful. It's very controlled. It's not going to stress the dogs out. So it's all about just building these bridges very in a type of a sequence. So everything else falls into place. For example, Titan's here for 2 weeks. He's going through the whole gamut of different establishing different relational dots, establishing those through me as a pivot point. So this is just another dot that's going to connect. So on this little exercise, you're going to see how this happens. So for right here, initially what I'm going to do is start to communicate. So I'll bring Titan over. Now here's some of the techniques I show people is not just looking at the picture and assuming because you have a certain picture that's in front of you, and this is where I stay away from using treats to build a picture of change. It's because what matters is what the motives, relational motives. So we have to make sure the motives get cleaned up here, and so that, because again, I show dogs are social relational animals. So we have to make sure that we're connecting properly to create what defines meaningful influence. So there's a difference between, the type of influence that's happening. So we don't want to be devalued, while we're trying to build this picture. So here, influence is needed. So here, as I'm doing, that's why touch is very important. So here, the ability when Titan's here in front of me, they do a little push-pull here. A little push-pull. What that does is it helps bring his thinking through me, and it represents that by the head turning in, during the push-pull. So the push-pull is more of an I own. It represents me establishing that type of script. I own the moment that takes a hold of his mind, and it influences how he thinks. So it'll break a connection, that he's trying to establish based on seeking fulfillment and power through other people, other dogs. So this is where you need to interrupt those states, But because we want to be proactive, we're not waiting for the mind to explode, You don't want to wait. This is about really getting to the level of separation, and then looking at influence as defining as it being what's reasonable. Keep that word reasonable in mind here as I'm doing this now. A dog's reaction, to reasonable influence may look very unreasonable, but that's only because of what's been established, the reaction based on leadership, So that's kind of the test. You look for the reaction of the mind, and sometimes it'll trick people because they'll think that, well, because of the reaction, there must be something, the person must be hurting the dog. Well, no, it's the mind is pulling in very, very hard. And just like a kid that's making themselves throw up, it causes stress on the dog. But the dog's stressed out already, But here in this case, you're not going to see that type of thing happening. But here, what I'm doing here with Titan, again, I'm doing the bridge. Push, pull, little tap, tap, tap. So what I want here, what I'm doing here right now is Polly's over there. I don't want Titan to be connecting or fixating on Polly at this point. So here we do this exercise. I'm slightly angled here too. So Polly, I'm working off a little bit of an angle so that Titan isn't facing Polly face on. Okay, so this way there's no investment just from looking. Okay, so sometimes when you're working with dogs, a little trick to doing it is actually sometimes angling them so you get a better idea of what they're seeking. Okay, the picture. If they're trying to really turn around, you should be saying, wow, they're really trying to, blow me off. Okay, I'm fading out of the picture. And that'll help you get a better picture of what's happening so that you can work the script a little better. And then as change starts happening, then you start to turn around more. But when you do that type of technique, I always want to do it in a position of strength, not weakness. So everything's just about a controlled exercise because, we want to make it very controlled so that we're successful. It doesn't get out of control. So when you do these types of exercises, you want to have a dog first in the crate. Then once I get a good, kind of foundation set, which I'm doing here right now in Titan, then I'm going to let Polly out. Okay, but again, when using another dog, you want to make sure that dog, that you have meaningful influence established in the relationship, so you have that control. So Polly comes out as my helper. I can direct how far in I want her to go, if I want her to stay away, and I have to do it according to how Titan's reacting. Okay, so it's all about just using Polly, and she'll get a little special treat for helping me. She always does. After helping me, that's where I will use a treat once in a while because I've already established, relational change with her. So, so this thing about using treats, just understand, people try to use it to build bridges and create change. It can be very problematic based on how it packages up relationally, okay, as to how the dog connects that to the person, okay. So treats aren't a problem so long as you're not using it to try to create change, okay. Just keep that in mind when it comes to, using motivating agents. Because really, the motivating agent is the person, okay, the personality type of the person. So if I need to change, okay, if this wasn't a board and train, and I'm working with the owners, then, you really have to, the script itself is meant to change how they think, okay, just understand. That's why the pushing is twofold. It's important for that too, not just to interrupt the state of mind, but to change how the person thinks. So same thing, tap a little bit. Now here I'm going to let Polly out, so I'm going to walk over here. You're not going to see it, but I'm going to let Polly out. Polly's going to start to move around. And as Polly moves around, the goal here is to start to, for me, just to focus on, starting to build a bridge, start to create meaningful influence here with Titan. Now, Titan's getting a little bit, antsy here a little bit. But again, just you have to just communicate. So there'll be a little spiking up and down a little bit with dogs. But again, it's all about knowing when to quit too. Okay, so when you do this type of thing, you want to create a really good foundation. Spend a few minutes doing this and then stop once you have a good level of influence created, a good level of communication, and you've established a follower script. So back in, push, and then push, pull. I'm going to go over and I'm going to call you out. I'm going to come back here in a second. So keep Polly running around. Okay, now here, right away, so right away Titan wants to go over and meet Polly on his turn. I'm going to let that happen. I'm going to start to put the method onto him. Hey, Polly, hey, sit. So here what I'm doing here is just keeping Polly at a little bit of a distance here. Polly, hey. I'm tapped here with Titan, tapping the leash, communicating. Polly's just kind of walking around checking other things out. Polly, happen. So your worst moments are going to be the initial couple as you're doing this. So what you do is just be patient, focus on, like I'm doing here now, focus just on Titan, okay? And at the same time, I'm seeing Titan start to come online here a little bit, and I'm keeping Polly somewhat away from me, okay, just out of my zone. She's just walking around, sniffing around, checking things out. She's not too interested here in Titan at this point, unless I call her over, and I'm not ready to do that yet, to have that meeting take place because I'm still building a script. Same thing, push and pull, tap, tap, tap. Polly, hey, go. We're going to move Polly away. Keep tapping. Bring her back, bring Titan back around again. So here what I'll do too, probably go, is you see the levels go up on Titan when Polly goes around behind her. This is the turnaround Titan. So here, which is good, Polly's right opposite. So now Titan's facing this way, and I get a better picture of what he's seeking. See, now he's into me now, okay? So now he's looking at me to focus on me here because, again, I'm just creating my moments, communicating with him. Polly, come on. Polly, sit. Come on. Come on. Come on. Now here, Polly's back over there in her crate, and then I'm bringing Titan over here. Polly's coming around again. So here what I'm doing is I'm making the acceptance happen with me as a pivot point. Okay, I'm not letting them work it out on their own. That's a big mistake when you do working with dogs. They're trying to get dogs to get along and just have them go into each other. Because what can happen is they'll start to establish a relationship, a connection with each other, but devalue the dog owner at the same time. That's very common. So you're kind of like on the outside looking in. Now this is why this really is revealing, because as I'm bringing Titan under reasonable influence and leadership, his reactions are such that you already know that he's wanting to meet on his terms. Okay, so I'm not allowing it, and so that's why you're getting a level of resistance here. I'm getting a level of resistance. So now I'll turn around. Now I'm turning him around according to where Polly's at, so that I can turn him the other way, and again give me a better picture and help so he doesn't overly invest. So, because what will happen is dogs will just will elevate their mind up. So here I want to turn him around so that it just helps me get a better picture. So just tap, tap. So here, turn around, tap, tap. See, his head turns around, tap, tap, tap. See that? Looking right into me here at this point, right? So again, when you're doing this type of exercise, it's important just to focus in on the building blocks of change, okay? Do these follower moments. And bring them over. And again, you don't want them to meet. I don't want them, this little exercise here, they're not ready to meet yet, okay? This is something that you have to work on a little bit until I have a really good follower state of mind, okay? Till Titan is really accepting influence, staying within the script, and not what he eat. And yeah, so you want to make sure you build the bridges this way. So here, I'm going to put Polly back in her crate. Polly's crate. Okay, crate. Come back over. So that was a good first meeting. This is the first time that I've done this exercise. And so here, same thing. So I put Polly back in her crate and go back to just a little bit of, so here I got more control because again, Polly's away from Titan a little bit. But the idea is this whole system's about overcoming everything. So in a very controlled way. So you saw there how the script got built, okay? It can be a little bit of a, requires a little bit of focus. But I tell people, make sure you do this type of exercise, have your cup of coffee, okay? Go into this for, say, 10 minutes and just, sit down. But you want to use another dog that is balanced, okay, that is going to respond to you. You don't want another dog just coming over on top of the dog that you're trying to create balance with. So, but here the idea is, again, understand that the dynamics with dogs is different. So if I just let them free flow in together and say, well, they're just going to work it out, that's a problem. I mean, that can be a major problem because one dog will gain power over the other one, and you may not even see a dog fight. Okay, usually when he turns into a dog fight, it's already way over the top with the amount of power that dog's holding. So one will be, in the hierarchy, one will be at a lower position than the other dog. You always have one that's more dominant. However, the big problem here is If the dogs are with the person, okay, then that's a major issue because, again, that's just like the dog is really pushing beyond the boundary lines of the relationship with that owner, especially with one dog in particular. So here, you want to make sure that you're establishing the script, you're establishing the relational bridge this way. It's got to be very much building it this way to make sure that you have meaningful influence, and that when the dogs do come together, and once you build the bridge this way, then there truly are going to be just like play, okay? They're going to be just because I'm ahead of both of them. So again, Titan's a great dog. He's doing fantastic. Again, he's got pit in him, so I mean, again, that need level goes up quite a bit. But again, it's making sure that the bridges are built this way, just like a little scripting exercise, and you have to focus in on building the bridge through you. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you have a great day.